talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. One, two, three, four. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking on your Tuesday? Hope you're having a good. We have thunderstorms like you can't imagine right here now. Anyway, welcome tonight. Let me tell you about legendary comedian Sam Kinison. We're going to get into all the various aspects of good old Sam. Screaming Sam Kinison. But before we do that, please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. All those absolutely free things only cost you a click that help us with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-seeing algorithm. And then also we do have super chats and memberships. Those are really important because they help us pay the bills around here. And then, of course, as we can show you in the begging bar, the ticker at the bottom of the screen, you can turn on your gifted memberships and maybe someone will just give you a membership. They just give it to you out of the goodness of their heart, like the shirt off their back. And it's one of the very best ways to support the show, by the way, because it's not that expensive and you look cool. I mean, like Fonzie level cool. That's how cool you look when you do that. So you should do that if you feel like doing that. Let's just get to some of your comments before we dive into Sam Kinison real quickly. Jared is here from the Pod Awful cult. He says, this should be a great one. I do not know who is in his avatar, but I'm in favor of the picture. Gilman is here. He says, Sam is a legend on and off the stage. Jared's got the dynamite, and we are a stick of dynamite, and the fire. You know, oh, shucks. Thanks, man. H2BH. Julian Zeezer, the very intelligent Julian Zeezer is here. He says, hi, Tom and gang. Scott LaRock is here. He's making another request for this topic. I actually do have it written down here, Scott. I can see if I can find it real quickly. But he thinks a show on herpes would be a good idea. And I do ask for your requests, so I have nobody really to blame but myself for that. We have it written down. I swear to you, it's on one of these lists. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But it is here, written down. I swear to you. Hold on. I've got so many. I really need to go through all these. I have got so many pages of these suggestions and things. It's on one of them. I swear to you. Let me see how many of these other things we got here. It's not on any of those. Just to give you an idea of how many topics that we have. Let me take this off the screen. Scott, we are doing marbles later on in the week. That's not there. If that'll suffice, Metal Maiden Vicky wanted marbles. We got another one here. I know I wrote it in big letters sideways on one of these because I remember writing it down. Let's see here. Bob Ross. We're going to do Bob Ross here pretty soon. Let's see here. It's not on this one either. But maybe it's on this one. Nope. That's not worth looking at. And it's here somewhere. I swear to you, Scott. I did write it down. It's just these are kind of hard to read, and there's so many of them that I've really got to get. I got to get off my duff and write that down. But it's on one of these many pages of suggested topics that we have. Is this one? No. All right. I make lists. It's what I do. Only a humble and eager suggestion. I do appreciate it very much. Dupa is here. Always good to see her. She says, hello, Tom and chat. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as verified by independent sources. To lead the way. I'm doing my best, man. I got out my cool T-shirt from Ixtapa, Mexico today. Just, because. Jared asks, Scott, why aren't you a member yet? Hey, let's have none of that. Let's not be... Neil Cassidy is my pick today. I don't even know who that is. Rumpled Trenchcoat is here from the Rumpled Trenchcoat of Colombo podcast. Hiya, folks. We were talking about that just last night. The Wolf was debating. I know the folks at Rumpled Trenchcoat feel that Dick Van Dyke is the most evil villain on Columbo. And the Wolf is a proponent of the fact that it's Johnny Cash So maybe they can have a meeting of the minds at some point. I might point out that we don't have Skype anymore. We don't have a phone number anymore, as you can see in the ticker at the bottom of the page. So now what we do, Jared and others, is we post the link, our StreamYard link, and we let you in that way. Can you dig it? Rumple Trenchcoat says, herpes is a topic. Here it is. Wait, where did it go? It's back now. Yeah, if we do that, do we have to do penicillin or something the next day? I don't even know if that's a cure for it. Chef is in the house. He's an actual chef. He's probably chefing as we speak. People saying hi. Scott says, Bob Ross will be good. I actually knew Bob Ross. Worked on his show. You don't believe me? Go to his Wikipedia and see where they produced that program for many years. And you'll know instantly that I am speaking the truth. People saying hi, people saying hi, people saying hi. Gene1313 says, herpes, that's a show that'll stick with you. See, now I'm going to end up having to do it, and I'm going to feel silly. But I did ingrown toenail, so, and lint. So Gene1313 says, hi, my Gulley friends and Mr. Gulley. Hello to you, Gene. Tyler Schollenberger is here from the Quad Cities, long-time member of the Tom Gulley Show family. Let's see here. People saying hi. We can dig it. I knew that you could. People saying hi. People saying hi. People saying up fingers. Yeah, please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. Those are all free things. You're smart. You're popular. You're well-liked. You're attractive. You have a good sense of humor. Your name never fails to get a laugh at big parties. If you share this show with your friends, we're going to take off like wildfire. The Wolf has made his way into the show. Says, hello, folks. He's probably doing his pecs or something. No, he did those yesterday. I don't know what he's doing. He's probably working out. What's up and hiya. There you go. People saying hi at a rate unequaled on the internet. It's absolutely stunning the way people say hi. All right, let's get into this fella, Sam Kinison, shall we? Sam Kinison. Good old Sam Kinison. Well, you know, Sam Kinison, obviously a very successful stand-up comedian and an actor. Now, a lot of people know this, but some people, a surprising number of people, do not know that he was a Pentecostal preacher to start out with, which makes a lot more sense when you see his act. He did stand-up comedy routines that were characterized by intense, sudden, violent tirades, punctuated by his distinctive scream, you know, the, ow, ow, you know. Similar to charismatic preachers, initially performing for free, he became a fixture at the Comedy Store where he met and was eventually befriended by such comics as Robin Williams and Jim Carrey. His comedy was very crass, very lowbrow, observational humor, especially toward women and dating. He had two really unhappy marriages, I think, that stimulated most of that. His popularity grew extremely quickly once he took off, leading to appearances on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, Late Night with David Letterman, and Saturday Night Live. He received a Grammy nomination in 1988 for the single Wild Thing from his Have You Seen Me Lately album. And that was the thing about Sam Kinison. He performed a lot of music videos and performed on stage a lot of very classic rock standard songs in his own particular way. And he won a Grammy posthumously in 1994 for the Best Spoken Comedy Album, Live from Hell. He would refer to being in hell as being married, being in a relationship. He was very critical of those things. Samuel Burrell Kinison was born in Yakima, Washington, back in 1953, the son of Marie Florence and Samuel Earl Kinison. His father was a Pentecostal preacher. The family moved to East Peoria, Illinois when he was 3 months old, and at the age of 3 years old, Sam Kinison was hit by a truck. Yeah, which left him with brain damage and epilepsy. Brain damage and epilepsy. It's what we like to call the big two. Brain damage and epilepsy. I mean, why don't I just put a picture of the young Sam Kinison up here? This is from his album, Have You Seen Me Lately? And that is indeed a young Sam Kinison. His father pastored several churches around the country, receiving very little income. Kinison and two older brothers, Richard and Bill, and a younger brother, Kevin, were the siblings of that family. His parents divorced when Kinison was 11 years old, after which Brother Bill went to live with his father, while Kinison stayed with the rest of the family, despite his protests. He described this as the root of much of his anger. Kinison later attended East Peoria Community High School. Kinison and his brothers emulated their father by becoming Pentecostal preachers. Between 1968 and 1969, Kinison attended Pinecrest Bible Training Center, an interdenominational, unaccredited 3-year Bible school located in Salisbury Center, New York. His mother married another preacher and moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. He preached from the age of 17 to 24, and recordings of his sermons revealed that he used the fire and brimstone style, punctuated with shouts similar to the ones he would later use in his stand-up comedy routines. His brother Bill said, though, that ironically he had no stage presence and he was not very successful at making money from preaching. He was more concerned with making the sermons more informative than entertaining. Well, after Kinison and his first wife were divorced, he totally abandoned preaching and took up, yes, comedy. And that's where we'll leave it till we get to some of your comments. And I cough. Perfect. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? People saying hi. Scott LaRock says, "Don't stop lying to me, Gulley." I'm not lying to you. Good to see you, says Doopadoopadoo. Christian Slater is here, and as usual, and you guys can't see it that well because they're not white, but he's posting spiders. Christian Slater is very fixated with spiders when he comes into this room. Christian, by the way, loved you in everything. Really in everything, but True Romance especially. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, "I'm glad I was able to catch Metal Maiden Vicky live on Saturday. Yes, Rumpled and Wolf and I were in the chat room on SonicAsylumRadio.com. You can hear Metal Maiden Vicky's Metal Euphoria on SonicAsylumRadio.com from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Saturday. And we stream live to their Facebook page every show and have for many, many years. The people at Sonic Asylum Radio, good people. People saying hi. Christian Slater says, "I did a Pizza Hut commercial with Sam back in '88. He bogarted all of my. Oh, Christian, come on, man. Don't out yourself like that." Kim Moorfield says, "Training back now, but still listening. As long as you're not training your front." Music Biz Marty official is back with us. H2BH to you, Music Biz Marty. Yes, shot is what you meant to say. Thank you. It says, "Damn, Tom, autocorrect made me curse. Mean to say who?" Shot. I'm done. Don't worry about it, Kristen. I know you're dealing with a lot of spiders where you're at. I love it. Who is the other big celebrity? Was it Billy, the guy in Titanic, Billy Dane or whatever his name? There was a whole bunch of celebrities came in one time talking about spiders. InfoWars here. says H2BH. H2BH right back at you. Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast, the most benevolent man. He ought to be a title sponsor of the show at this point. He has generously gifted 5 Tom Gulley Show memberships, so 5 undeserving people have now been touched by the philanthropic nature of Rumpled Trenchcoat. And Rumpled, there you are. There you get the point as usual. That's really one of the best ways to support the show. You're giving the gift of a membership to someone else, and it's just a wonderful thing. And I'm hoping that by example, Rumpled Trenchcoat may spur others of you to contribute to supporting the show. Not that we deserve it, you know. People saying hi. People saying hi. Coach Mike Rodick is here. He says hello to all my friends in chat. Oh, hey, Tom. Oh, hey, Coach Mike Rodick. People saying hi. People saying hi. Billy Zane. Yes, Billy Zane also came in here and was obsessed with spiders. There was a female. Was it Bette Midler? I can't remember. But there was a cadre of big celebrities in here talking about spiders for several weeks. Infowars says, let's go. And Up Fingers. Yeah, got to get those likes in there. And more people, a lot more people. There's an internet personality that is widely ridiculed throughout the interwebs. And he made, last night on his show, more money than I will make in over 2 months. And if you saw his show, you would feel guilty about that fact. You would feel guilty. You would feel bad for humanity. Not for me, but for humanity. You would say, what's this world coming to? When that guy is doing better than that guy. Or when that guy is doing good at all. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue with our discussion of well-known comedian. By the way, very good friends with Rodney Dangerfield. Very, very good friends with Rodney Dangerfield was Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison began his career in comedy in Houston, Texas, where he performed in small clubs. He became a member of a comedic group at the Comedy Workshop known as the Texas Outlaw Comics. And that group included an upcoming topic on the Tom Gulley Show, Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks. There were several others, most notably, I think, Ron Schock, who was known for reenacting news stories out of the newspaper. Hicks cited Kinison as a major influence on his comedic style, noting that he was the first guy I ever saw go on a stage and not in any way ask the audience to like him. In 1980, Kinison moved to Los Angeles, hoping to find work at the Comedy Store, but was first employed as the doorman. He soon developed a cocaine and alcohol addiction, quickly progressing to freebasing cocaine, and struggled to gain a foothold in the business until his brother Bill moved to Los Angeles to help manage his career. His big break came on HBO's Rodney Dangerfield's 9th annual Young Comedians special in August of 1985. After noting the performance of another comedian, reviewer Stephen Holden of the New York Times wrote, "The most interesting of the other 8 comedians is a savagely funny Sam Kinison. Mr. Kinison specializes in a grotesque animalistic howl that might be described as the primal scream of the married man." Kinison would later appear in Rodney Dangerfield's Back to School film. You guys remember him in Back to School as the teacher talking about Vietnam? God, that was funny. "Well, I didn't know you wanted to get involved, Mr. Helper. Didn't know you wanted to be involved in the conversation." And starts screaming at him. I'd like to mention this next piece of video can be found online, and I think it's available on David Letterman's incredible YouTube channel. In Kinison's debut television appearance on Late Night with David Letterman in 1985, Letterman's introduction of Kinison warned the audience, "Brace yourselves, I'm not kidding. Please welcome Sam Kinison. Kinison played on his former role as a Bible-preaching evangelist, taking satirical and sacrilegious shots at the Bible, Christianity, and famous Christian evangelist scandals of the mid-'80s. Kinison's daring comedy, helped him shoot to stardom. On several videos of his stand-up routines, a shot of the personalized license plate on his 1986 Corvette reveals the words X-Rev. That was his license plate. He was associated with the Los Angeles rock music scene and was occasionally accompanied by a rock band. And I think his version of Wild Thing ended up getting into the top 20 in Australia. By the way, there's some other films that he was in, Three Amigos being one of them, and also a film called Pauly Shore is Dead. I'll just put that on the screen real big because a lot of people aren't real big fans of Pauly Shore, frankly, as it turns out. Howard Stern purchased the film rights to Kinison's biography written by Kinison's brother, reporting that HBO would make Brother Sam, with Kinison being played by Dan Fogler. In an interview with Sam's brother and manager, Bill Kinison, Bill mentioned film deals were in development at the time of what I'm going to tell you about later, his death. One such film deal was a film with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was huge at the time, and another with Rick Moranis. Now, his personal life was all over the place. I mean, all over the place. All over the place. He was well known for dating adult film star Seika for quite some time. I believe he even had a few, for a while, romantic associations with Jessica Hahn. In May of 1988, his youngest brother, Kevin, did something that he shouldn't have done, which devastated Sam Kinison. You know what that thing is that I'm not allowed to say here on YouTube. Kinison acquired much of his material from his first two marriages, one to Patricia Adkins, which is a 5-year marriage from 1975 to 1980, and the other to Terry Mars from 1981 to 1989, an 8-year marriage. He began a relationship with dancer Malika Suiri toward the end of his marriage with Mars. In 1990, Suiri alleged she was attacked by a man Kinison had hired as a bodyguard while Kinison was asleep. The bodyguard stated that the attack was consensual. I'm saying attack instead of something else because we run a clean show here. All right. The incident inspired Kinison to try to go straight because he felt guilty about being asleep with Suiri, and he joined Alcoholics Anonymous. And by March of 1990, he was saying to audiences that he was no longer drinking and no longer doing any drugs of any kind. Kinison frequented rock shows and often hung out with musicians. In May of 1991, Kinison got in a fight with guitarist Slash at a hotel after Slash missed a planned appearance at one of Kinison's shows. Slash stated that Kinison nearly choked him to death before Slash's bandmate, Duff McKagan, intervened. Slash and McKagan declined to press charges after the incident. This is on April 4th, 1992, 6 days before his death, Kinison married Malika Suiri at the Candlelight Chapel in Las Vegas. They honeymooned in Hawaii for 5 days before returning home to Los Angeles on April 10th to prepare for a show that night at the Riverside Resort Hotel and Casino in Laughlin, Nevada. Suiri, let's see here. On April 10th, 1992, excuse me, Kinison was driving his Pontiac Turbo Trans Am when it was struck head-on Needles Highway, southwest of Needles, California, by a pickup truck driven by a juvenile named Troy Pearson. Prior to the crash, Pearson had been drinking alcohol. The pickup truck crossed the center line of the roadway while trying to pass another vehicle and moved into Kinison's lane. Kinison and his wife were on their way to Laughlin, Nevada to perform a sold-out show at the Riverside Casino, the one I'd mentioned just earlier. After the crash, Kinison appeared stable with only minor visible facial wounds. He got out of his vehicle and sat down on the side of the road, where he soon died from internal injuries. His head had smashed the windshield because he was not wearing his seatbelt. He was just 38 years old. His wife received a concussion in the collision, but later recovered after being taken directly to a hospital in Needles for treatment. Kinison's last words were reportedly stated to no one in particular at the crash scene, "Why now?" And then after a pause, he asked, "But why?" And then after another pause, he said, okay. A friend who was with him at the time later recalled, whatever voice was talking to him gave him the right answer, and he just relaxed with it. An autopsy found that Kinison sustained multiple traumatic injuries, including a dislocation in the cervical spine, a torn aorta, and torn blood vessels in his abdominal cavity, which resulted in his death within just a few minutes of the crash. Pearson, the juvenile that struck him, pleaded guilty to one count of vehicular manslaughter with gross negligence. He was sentenced to 1 year probation and 300 hours of community service. Pearson also had his driver's license suspended for 2 years in connection with the collision, but that ain't enough, man. On April 15th, 1992, at Forest Lawn Cemetery in Burbank, California, a funeral service was held. Kinison's body was buried in a family grave plot at Memorial Park Cemetery in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the legacy of Sam Kinison is quite large. Comedian George Carlin's 8th HBO stand-up comedy special, Jammin' in New York, was dedicated to Kinison's memory. At the beginning of the broadcast, the words, "This show is for Sam," appeared on the screen. After his death, Kinison was fondly remembered by friends and co-stars. Ozzy Osbourne said, "Apparently when Sam had the accident, I heard he got out of the car and looked to the heavens and said, 'I don't want to die,' and then just said, 'Oh, okay,' and laid down and died." It sounds crazy, and it probably will offend a lot of my fans, but I believe there's a higher power. Some people may think Sam Kinison's in one place, but I know where he is. He's upstairs next to God. On May 23rd, 1993, Fox aired a special, a tribute to Sam Kinison. The special contained archive footage of Kinison and stand-up comedy performances by comedians including Robin Williams, Rodney Dangerfield, and Jim Carrey. Between 2008 and 2013, there were some press releases regarding a possible dramatic film to be based on the memoir Brother Sam, the short, spectacular life of Sam Kinison by his brother Bill. Kinison's comedy was at times accused of containing very bad things, misogyny, and other hateful elements. In fact, his album, Have You Seen Me Lately, contained a disclaimer sticker on the outside stating the material on this album does not reflect the views or opinions of Warner Brothers Records. Employees at Warner Brothers requested their bosses not release it due to the controversial material on that album. In a 2016 article by John Hugar in New York Magazine, Hugar contended that the comedy of past comedians, notably Sam Kinison, was not positively embraced by younger generations, perhaps because their material has come to be viewed as anachronistically sexist and misogynistic with time. Hugar noted that a modern reevaluation was complicated by the possibility that Kinison could be considered as playing an intellectually shocking an intentionally shocking character rather than speaking as himself. He did 5 albums. He did Louder Than Hell, his first album, in 86. He did Breaking the Rules in 87. He did, as I showed you earlier, Have You Seen Me Lately, which was a gold album. He did an album, and this one is extremely sacrilegious. It's called Leader of the Band, and that's, of course, just a horrifyingly, it's just degrading and disrespectful recreation of The Last Supper. Of course, The Last Supper was a recreation, so I don't know what to think about that. And then finally, Live from Hell, ironically, right before his passing. I mentioned that Wild Thing went to number 19 in Australia. Don't you know? I mentioned the Back to School movie. He was also in Savage Dawn, Three Amigos, Pauly Shore is Dead, and the documentary I Am Sam Kinison. He was on television many times, quite a few Rodney Dangerfield specials, but also, as I mentioned, Saturday Night Live, twice as a guest performer, and then once as a host. He was on Married with Children as a guest star, from Tales of the Crypt as a guest star, a little-known show called Charlie Hoover, which was a Fox show. He was on Fox a lot. In Living Color, he was on as the ending skit, and Fox New Year's Eve Live in 1992 as the co-host. He was in a lot of music videos. Okay, he was live in a Rusted Out Garage concert video with Neil Young. He was in Wild Thing music video of his own. He was in Bad Medicine with Bon Jovi in a cameo. He did his own video of Under My Thumb, and you can see these on YouTube, by the way. He was in Kickstart My Heart with Motley Crue in a cameo. He did The Kids Go Wild with Babylon AD as the voiceover. Cherry Street did a video called The Walk. He did a cameo for that. He did his own music video for Mississippi Queen. He did the music video Heartbeat. He did a cameo for DuPriest. What Do I Have to Do with Kylie Minogue? He did the voiceover for it. And so there you are. That is the short, explosive, controversial, extremely irreverent life of one Samuel Burl Kinison. Let's get to some of your comments, and then, yes, I will put the link up. I will pin the link, and we'll see what happens there. Let's see. Ron Schock was a good one. Ron Schock was good. I haven't seen Ron Schock in ages, but he was good. Coach Mike Rodick says, "Hey, Tom, were you associated with Bob and Tom when Sam showed up unannounced at a live event?" I'm familiar with that. My association with Bob and Tom started in about 1986, and I wrote little comedy bits that I would send. There was an overnight DJ that worked at the radio station I was at. And so he worked during the week on the air at this little radio station. And then I think he did overnights at Q95 in Indianapolis. And so I would give him carts of material, or sometimes cassettes maybe, that I had done for the morning show at the little station I worked at. And they would sometimes put those on. Then I did a bunch of songs for their song contests and won some of those. And then I wrote for one of the characters in their morning zoo. Actually, it was a guy that played 6 or 7 different characters, a tremendous talent by the name of Mark Patrick. And when I say I wrote for him, I would write things and he would choose to use the things that he thought were funny. And I would fax them to him just to show you how long that was. So that was my association with those guys. I think I rarely, if ever, spoke to Tom. I spoke to Bob way more than I spoke to Tom. I spoke to Tom once or twice, and they were very pleasant. But that's my association with those guys. Let's see here. you're probably going to get to that. Let's see. Coach Mike Rodick. Yes, Ron Schock was a good one. Rumpled Trenchcoat said, torn aorta doesn't exactly give you a lot of time. No. Matter of fact, you know this better than I do, Rumpled. If you get a torn aorta, you better be right next to a cardiothoracic surgeon in an operating room. Tim Jenkins says, I'm amazed Arsenal lost at the weekend. I'm not. Those guys, man, I'm telling you, no killer instinct, no will to win, no we want to win every match, none of that. One of the big problems that Arsenal has right now, a lot of us remember the Invincibles. And those guys, it didn't matter what stage they were in the table. It didn't matter if another team had clinched the title. They were going to go out and win anyway. This team is right now telling itself that it can travel to PSG and win by a goal. 2 clear goals, actually. Or by a goal and go to penalties and win. That's what they're telling themselves. And when they get there and they actually have the opportunity to do it, they're not going to show up. They're not going to. Part of it's coaching. Not enough of those guys are fearful of their jobs. It's just, they beat Real Madrid because there was no pressure on them. They weren't expected to. Now that it's time, no. They just, ugh. Rumpled says, I knew he died young. I didn't realize he was only 38. Yeah, only 38 years old. Really, really tragic. You had Andy Kaufman at only 35 and Sam Kinison at only 38. Tom, do you have any sports memorabilia? I imagine you would have. I have a pair of goalkeeper gloves signed to me by Gordon Banks. What do you think about that? I played in a match on this tour that was going through the United States called Soccer Blast. And there was all these former and current soccer stars that would play I think it was 5-a-side match with goalkeepers against the local team. I was on the local team. I think they only lost 3 of these matches. They toured the whole country, and they only lost a few times. Well, they lost to us, and I had a whale of a match. And got off the field, and who comes up and just grabs me by the hand, and he said, sheer robbery. And I said, what? And I was laughing, and he said, and I was awestruck, and this girlfriend was with me. He goes, you just robbed him today. You robbed him. And I went, well, thank you, sir. I said, and we talked for a moment. I said, obviously, you're not just my idol, you're an idol to everyone who's ever watched the game or played the position, blah, blah. Oh, we do what we can, blah, blah, blah. And I had a pair of brand new goalkeeper gloves on. It's the first time I had ever worn them. They were expensive. Goalkeeper gloves are not cheap. And these were like $70 pair. And this was back in the mid-90s, I think, or early to mid-90s. And I said, would you do me the honor of signing these? And he did. So that's probably my best piece of sports memorabilia. I also have an autographed, with still in the envelope, picture of Dick Butkus, which is a treasured memory. But I have a lot of other stuff, too. I have a lot of signed baseballs and things of that nature. Lucas Malago says, one might say that a documentary on Sam Kinison should be titled, I Was Sam Kinison. Well, yeah, Lucas Malago, again, thank you for always retweeting and liking my tweets about the show. That's very important. Tim Jenkins says, yeah, they won't, wow, they will be worth so much. Not for sale at any price, ever. Jay says, that's cool. The new goalie gloves look so weird. No, they don't. Tim Jenkinson says he was an amazing keeper. The new ones are just like the old ones. They're just big. They're maybe a little bigger. But when I first started, There were goalkeepers in the Premier League that didn't even wear, not the Premier League, the English First Division at the time, that didn't even wear gloves, ever. Not in the rain, never. And the first pair of gloves that I had looked like work gloves, and they were really tight around the wrist. So they had this like overlap. They looked like a pair of like gardening gloves, and they had rubber pebbled like material on the fingers and on the palms separate, and they were made of kangaroo leather. And they were like they said, they looked like a pair of like a guy that worked on a railroad's gloves or something. And then I started buying German gloves from Uhlsport. And then eventually Nike and Adidas started making the gloves. And I think I wore a lot of Nike gloves at a certain point. They looked bulbous. My gloves look more like batting gloves. Yeah, that's kind of how these were, only they had a lot of extra and a tie on the end of the sides of them. But one of the Uhlsport ones I got were for rain, and they looked like a towel on the palms of them. They were coated in polyurethane, but it looked like towel material. I might still have those around somewhere. No, I think I threw them out because they got all brittle. I still have a couple pairs of goalkeeper gloves that I got and never hardly wore them. So they're still in there. Man, they're still good. And I know those are Nike. But I wore Reusch and Uhlsport. The Germans made really good goalkeeper gloves in the mid 80s. And I had Reusch. I know I had a Reusch and an Uhlsport goalkeeper jersey too. But Tim Jenkinson says the gloves have changed so much over time. They really have. And I don't know. I like the ones that I was wearing in around 2000. Those were really good gloves. They were big enough, but they still had a lot of touch. I think the current ones are just so big and so padded. Personally, when I look back at Ray Clements or, Peter Shilton or David Besant, or gosh, you could even go to David James or Shaka Hislop, or when I look back at like say the goalkeepers in the '86 World Cup with Jean-Marie Pfaff and Prudhomme and Sepp Maier and the older goalkeepers, Dino Zoff. Those goalkeepers caught a lot more balls than the current ones do. The current ones, it's all about parrying it away, up and over, or, batting it out. And a lot of times that comes back and it's in the net, And I think a part of that is a function of the gloves. I don't think they necessarily train. We train to catch it, Even on your biggest extension, highest altitude dive, you were trying to, if it could hit your hands, you were catching it. Now it's parry it away. And I think that's just a judgment call. I think there's time when it makes sense to turn it around the post. But I don't think it nearly as often as they do it now. I see some goalkeepers. One of the things when I was a goalkeeper is if you shoot the ball and it's above my shoulders, I'm going to catch it. Unless it's because that, when I extend my hand standing up, where my fingertips are where, if I'm standing on the goal line, where the top of the goal is. So if I'm out of the goal and it's going over where I can catch it, it's not going in the net. But if it's in here, I'm catching it. That ain't what they do no more. I saw the Giants gloves and they were explosive. Yes, the Wolves probably saw my gloves. They were explosive. Tim Jenkinson says, it annoys me when keepers punch it out rather than catching it. I don't mind a good punch when it's in the box, the 6-yard box, and there's a crowd. In fact, a lot of times I think that's a good idea. But there are a lot of punches that should be caught. You know, how many times did Shilton go up in a melee and come down with that ball instead of punching it, you know, and outside the 8 and to either side of the goal? That's a great time to not punch. But there are times when punching is effective. One of the best times to punch is a bouncing ball with a striker running onto it, because you don't want to get run over and lose your handle on it, and punch it. Also, punching, if you got a forward running onto it, he doesn't want to run into your punch. Get that knee up too. So many goals are given away when keepers do it. Well, that's because they don't punch it to the side. The rule is out, up, long. You want to punch it out to the sides. There's no angle. You want to punch it up into the air as high as you can, because if you miss or what, God forbid something happens, you punch it high enough, you can catch your own punch. And then long, punch it as long as you can. Now, I've seen in the last few weeks some really good saves on just shots that are, man, it's like, how did he get to that? And they turn it around the post out of bounds. I don't like saves that stay in the field of play that are not contained by the goalkeeper. Yeah, if it's a thing where it's just barely and he jumps on it, fine. But I agree with you, Tim. There's just too many goals given away when a save remains in play. You know, if you punch the ball, it should go 30 yards well outside the penalty area where the other team has to reset. And it should take long enough that your team can reset while they're doing that. But even that is not optimal. It's not optimal. Anyway, we could talk about that for forever. We really could. We just really could. I've got pictures, by the way. Maybe I'll show them to you someday. Oh, I was going to pin the link, wasn't I? I was going to pin that link. Hold on, folks. Let me get that underway. 'Cause we can't do the thing we used to do. The things that we used to do, I don't want to do no more. The things that we used to do. Let me tell you a little Sam Kinison story. And this is very melancholy for me. You're going to hear a little bit of the song for this show real fast, and then you're going to hear the show for a second. It's going to suck for you. No, well, I guess you don't have to hear the song, because let me go here. You're going to have to hear the show for just a second. Not too long. Oh, well, maybe you won't hear it. I've got the thing turned off. I have that turned off. I accidentally did something right. So let's see here. What do we got? We've got notifications. I always like to look at those. Nope, nothing good. All right. Let's get that link pinned, shall we? So I've got a story that's very melancholy for me, very sad. It's just flat out sad. I've pinned the link. The link has been pinned. So I've got a story. Let me tell you a little story about a man named Jed. He was a poor mountaineer. He barely kept his family fed. And now the story is this. I worked with this girl who I thought we were just kind of work friends, and we would sort of tease each other. She was actually a pretty cool chick. She was pretty decent looking, actually kind of hot. And we worked at this ad agency, and if I was at the copy machine, which the copy machine used to be a big deal back in the day, right? She would come up, and I had to use it a lot. I was a writer, and so I was printing things out. Well, back then I was typing them, and I'd take my typed thing, and because you didn't print things out back then, you copied them on a copy machine. If I had a meeting or something, I'd have to make copies. So I'd be using it, and she'd come up and go. And she wasn't supposed to even really be using the creative copier, but ours was better than everybody else's. It would do more things. And so she would come up and go. Incidentally, she came from a very rich family. Her dad owned like all these chains of rallies and checkers and stuff. But she would come up to me and just go, "You think you own that? You don't own it. It's not yours." She would just start things like that. She was kind of a funny girl, but she was also kind of a pain in the rear end sometimes. And so I thought we were just sort of work friends and this and that. And why am I only this size? I need to be this size. And so, oh, by the way, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification, but please like, come on, and subscribe. It's not hard to subscribe. Come on. It's so easy. But you can like even if you're not signed in to Facebook. I mean, YouTube. You can, come on. Yeah, we want memberships and we want super chats, because I just saw a guy, the absolute biggest fool on the internet, make $800 last night, and it hurt me deeply. It made me feel bad about myself and the world around me. I had to wash the back of my neck with steel wool and turpentine. Anyway, so this girl invites me to go to Sam Kinison at Ball State. She went to Indiana University. She says, and come on, what am I going to, but she could have invited me to eat a sandwich at Ball State, and I'd have gone. So, and I remember it was bitter cold. And she wore a skirt and, legs and stuff. And I mean, it had to have been like -5 degrees or something. It was bad. And I drove my silly little Geo Metro up there. We went and saw it, had a heck of a time, drove back. That was it. I don't know, about 3 or 4 months later, she shows up at my apartment one night, late, like 11:30, and brought some beer with her. I didn't even drink. And she came in, and I could tell she'd had a few drinks. And I didn't even know how, I guess from the company, whatever, she found out where I lived. But let me see here. Let me see if I can pinpoint when this happened. Let me see here. Oh, well, I can probably. That would have been in like November of 1990. Mid-November. Remember, it was cold. Let me see here. The Ball State University digital media transcript. Let's see. The 15th of November. Oh, no. This is talking about that he is going to be there. Going to be there. Let's see. Sam Kinison concert and tour history. Well, it starts in 1992. How's that supposed to help me? Oh, wait a minute. And it goes to 19. Oh, no, hold on. Hold on there, Baba Louie. December, March, April. Well, it's not on this list, so forget it. I'm not gonna go any further looking for that. I'm not gonna go any further with that, but nobody's clicked the link. Great. Let's see. And so years later, I'm talking to this girl, and she goes, you don't get the picture, do you? And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, I invited you to a concert that I got the tickets for. And then I came over to your house at 11:30 at night drunk. Do you not get what's going on? I'm like, I gotcha. Yes, and at least I'm not freezing tonight. That doesn't mean I won't tonight. It's not freezing me. Geo Metro was thinking 92. We used to call them stalkers. That's a good kind of stalker there. Yeah. Rumple Trenchcoat says, I married my stalker. Turned out pretty good. Our silver anniversary is this month. Congratulations, Rumple. Congratulations to Rumple Trench. Silver, that's what, 25 years maybe? I don't know what that is. So it's a sad story because she got married to this real jerk. By the way, at one point, she left our agency and became my client at a big account that we had. And she was sometimes very hostile to me. And I found out why. It's because I didn't get the message. But sometimes she was really nice to me. It was hot and cold because she was angry. Yes, 25 years. Oh, yeah. Well, don't thank me. You did all the work there, Chief. So she married this guy. She's very successful professionally, and they started a side business. But this guy was a real jerk. And apparently he was having affairs with people, and she found out about it, and they went through counseling on. And then, as many times happens, she had an affair with somebody. And she had an affair with him at this like lake house that they had. And that guy, her jerk husband, discovered them in the middle of, in flagrante delicto. And there was a fight or whatever. And so she ends up getting divorced from the first guy and marrying the second guy. But she loses because this first guy just absolutely destroyed her in the divorce. Took the business, took this, took that, took everything, was just awful to her. And so then she marries this other guy who's, not as successful and whatever. And she contacted me. I did some work to help her start her new business because she started a new business. And a couple years later, a guy that he and I both worked with her emailed me and told me that she had passed away. And she passed away from some like freak accident. Like she fell down a flight of stairs or something. It was, it was from some sort of a fall. And I think it was down a flight of stairs, and it just made me so sad. And so now Sam Kinison is gone, and that makes me feel sad about Sam Kinison. Is that she was a really, really nice girl. She was a really fun, friendly person, and silver and gold, silver and gold. Me too, Rumpled. Sometimes it just works out. 22 years in June. She started some side business as well. That's true, Lucas Malago. Nice, Coach. Compromising situation. Yes, a very compromising situation. That is so sad. It sounds like she deserved much better. Yeah, she did. She did. But she was, she was headstrong and a little stubborn sometimes. And I remember when she was my client, she was making a squawk about some creative that we had done because she thought she should be more involved in the creative. And I was always like, no. And I showed her a campaign. I could actually show you one of the commercials. I know it's on YouTube. And she said, I don't know if it's too real or not real enough. And I just looked over at her like, are you kidding me? And her boss, who was really cool, just goes, Joe, shut the blank up. He didn't say blank. Yes! 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 It wasn't a Geo Metro. Did I say Metro? It was a Geo Storm. If I said Metro, that's a bad mistake. It was a Geo Storm, Gil, man. I'm so sorry. I am so very, very sorry. It was a Geo Storm. I think 90, would that have been it? No, that would have been my, in 90, I would have been driving I had a 77 Caprice Classic. Mint. Or maybe there was a period of time I had two cars at the same time. One was the 77 Caprice Classic. Or I also had a 1972 LTD two-door, 18,000 miles on it. She was squawking. That girl is for the birds. Wolf saying, I'm waiting for my computer to load Garbage Lab. I don't know what that is, but anyway. All right, I'm not going to take any link people anyway. Not only do people not want to watch this show, even worse, even more people don't want to be on it. Anyway, we're not doing that. Not doing it now. That was the one thing about the old way. I could just turn off the software. Now I have to actually, if somebody was to come into the thing now, I'd have to actually look at them and go, no. Anyway, tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, a big night here on the Tom Gulley Show. I'm going to just give you a little surprise. Tonight was our 500th show. 500th show. And tomorrow night will be our 501st show. And the Wolf just called me a jerk. Well, we can have you on tomorrow for the big five. But tomorrow will be a retrospective of our past 500 shows that nobody cares about or watches. It'll be a celebration of that. Is what that'll be. Victor says, congratulate me tomorrow. But tomorrow we will be celebrating our previous 500 shows. Technically, however, tonight was our 500th show. Coach Mike says, I would love to be on it, Tom. Just happen to be at work when the show is on. Like that's an excuse? Please. How much do you like that job? No, kid, I understand. Wow, 500. 500th show. Congratulations. Thank you, Rumple Trench. Thank you, Tim Jenkinson. 501. Will you be wearing Levi's? Oh, boy. Oh, man. Rumpled trench coat. I don't deserve you at all. Gifted 10 Tom Gulley Show memberships. I don't know who got them. I hope some good people did. I'm going to go to find out right now. Let me see. History. There. I bet you I can find out right now. I'm going to find out right now who got those. I'm going to see who got them. Oh, shut up. Shut up, dumb commercial. Okay. I'm going to find out right this very hoo-ha who got those. Because I care. Why did I tell that sad story? That's a sad story. Oh, well, she deserves a little memorialization. Tuki's Nana, who I'm in and out on, okay. Levyverse got one. Yes. My good friend Bob Levy, whose followers and co-host all hate my guts. Frog's Little Guitar. I'm happy they got one just for the name. Ape Face. I'm good with that. Widow Killer. Eesh. Let's see here. Homie Don't Play That. Oh, that's Liz from the Abels. Killing Abels thing. So Homie got one. Rengoku got one. Mule got one. And Cody Hill got one. Well, good. Thank you so much, Rumpled. You're the best, man. Who got him earlier? Judy Tester, yes, from the Pod Awful Cult got one. Muted Growl got one. Captain Stoned Crab, excellent. Cody Ander, Ross Dog's Broken Spirit. I don't know if he hates me or not. Maybe. 500 shows, so amazing, we just can't watch it. I'm interested to hear this story. Will Wolf be the co-host? The story of what? Oh, nice. Many thanks. Yes, Rumpled Trenchcoat did that for you. Rumpled Trench. Everybody, let's have a quick, please. Please, yes. Calls for an extra celebration. Well, we'll be looking back in anger tomorrow at all of our past shows. Milestones are too heavy to push. Wait until tomorrow. That's funny. Wolf has his things where he goes, yeah, beer so delicious and flowing, you just couldn't drink it. Which is it's like a backhanded compliment. 500 shows, so amazing, we just can't watch them. I'll be interested to see. Oh, nice, many thanks. Rumpled Trenchcoat, you're welcome, everyone. Enjoy. Hey, by the way, I mentioned it yesterday. Oh, wait. The wolf shows up. We'll have the wolf on tomorrow. Because I gotta eat something. But I do want to say this. You gotta go to Star Trek Continues. You gotta watch it. I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in the chat. You have to watch these episodes. They are so incredibly good. Man, they are good. If you remember the episode of the original series, and all of these are based in the original series. What the heck? Why is that available anymore? What's going on here? All of them are based in the original, series. And let me get to the playlists, and I'll just put the link to the playlists on here. Episodes. Let's see. Why won't it let me share that? So you gotta see they're so good. Hopefully this will take you to the playlist of all 11 episodes. If you remember the episode of the original series where they had the evil Star Trek that they went to, the evil Enterprise with the evil Spock with the goatee and all that. Do you remember that one? They pick up where that one left off, and they do some amazing things. They actually do some amazing things all the way through. You must, yes, Mirror, Mirror, you must. And the one with Apollo, that's the first episode of the Star Trek Continues. You've got to watch these. You will very quickly forget that you're not watching the original Star Trek. Obviously the actors aren't the same. And they did such a great job of not imitating the old actors. They kind of replicated them. They didn't overdo it, trying to be Spock or Kirk. It is so incredibly well done. The scripts are so exactly like the old ones and very good. The cinematography, the set design, the lighting. It is like you're watching the original series. I swear to you, it is. And they many times will pick up on characters or things that have happened on the old series. Doesn't dominate the show, by the way. It doesn't. It's just, it's so good. It is so good. We're definitely going to do a show on it. I've never seen anyone do anything like this. And by the way, there is some tremendous fan-produced work out there. For Star Trek, for Star Wars, for a lot of other things. There is some amazing stuff out there. Incredible stuff, right? But this is wow. It's just wow. It really is wow. Anyway, tomorrow night we'll celebrate 501 episodes. Let's see here. Sounds like a great idea. The first 3 seconds I pulled it in my algorithm. I always love the red sky background and close-ups. I will definitely give it a watch. It's incredible. Did you guys hear that? It's 8 o'clock. Who does that? Did you hear that? Maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't. I don't know who does that. I really don't. So anyway, you gotta, yes, time to rev it up. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's been raining and thunderstorm. Ultra modern and extremely fast car. Oh, the Wolf's seen pictures of this car. He's seen pictures. It's a piece of junk without a muffler. It is just a piece of trash. It's the most jacked up aftermarket, busted up, dented, stickers all over it. It's got a plus 514 on the side. I don't even know what that means. You know, the trouble with tribbles. I don't even know what it means. Plus 514? Is that a car thing? If it is, I've never heard of it. God, is it bad. But Star Trek Continues is so good. I watched 6 episodes last night. And I had a big dumb meeting in the morning this morning, which I hope went well. So, yeah. That's the name of that tune. You gotta watch it. Tell him Tom sent you. I am going to reach out and see if I can get anybody from that show to be on this show and talk about it. It was made some time ago, but oh, is it good? Man, oh man, oh man. It's special to high. I don't know what that, I like that phrase. It's special to high. Anyway. All right. Well, I'm looking at that old clock on the wall. And, like the Reverend Al Green, I'm going to have to get on up out of here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Tomorrow night, we'll celebrate the past 500 episodes. I don't know how, but we will somehow. Maybe we'll just go through them and talk about them all a little bit. Maybe we'll have special guests. Maybe I'll put the link up for the whole show. Maybe. Who knows what I'll do? Who knows what I'll do? It's conceivable I could do anything. But with all that being said, I personally think that the only thing left to say is, till next time. Let's turn this banner off. I always forget to turn it off. Till next time. We'll see you next time.
talking about. We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gully, yes I am. So what we talking